We
It's a
thought we'd
great,
change it up this week.
yeah. People are just like sitting, waiting. What's their information, right? What is going on with these three characters? How's it going, you guys?
Going pretty good, I think. The weekend is here. The the weather has broken, so I think it's fantastic. It's like
I'm excited.
my wife said, cut the AC off. She cut it off days ago. She said, cut that thing
Oh,
off.
oh no. You can't do that here, or else you're going to be sweating all day long.
Oh yeah, You're right, especially in Texas.
Yes, sir. So what do you got for us this week, Daryl?
Well, let me tell you what I have. Is my screen wide?
Your screen is not showing your information. Only you, Daryl.
Oh, well, what am I doing? What am I doing? Okay, here we go. So, let me tell you, this week in brief, I think there's some really good information that's gonna really help the investors. Of course, it's coming from the Commercial Multifamily Mastermind Group. We present the weekend brief for September 18th, 2020 with Julianne Peterson from Old Capital. We have Zach Week from the Multifamily Group. And of course, Darryl Murphy Sr., myself, with the Murphy Bainer Group. So today's brief will be coming from Globe Street. Topic is going to be apartment rent collections continue to decline. So I think this information here, I would like to hear from a lot of investors that are out there. Do you concur with what's being said or not? Because I'm hearing different things. But when I finish reading this report, I would like for investors that are listening to this to please comment, because I want to know, what are you seeing in your market? All right. But as for right now, Globe Street said apartment rents collection continue to decline. New data track a significant decline in households paying rent, which comes on the heels of other research highlighting distress in the multifamily segment. Multifamily fundamentals continue to show signs of distress in the wake of the widespread job and economic losses created by the coronavirus. The latest report from the National Multifamily Housing Council's Rent Payment Tracker, which measures the number of apartment households that make a full or partial rent payment, shows a drop by 2.4%, or 279,457 households year over year, as well as a monthly decline. According to the National Multifamily Housing Council tracker, 86.2% of apartment households made a full or partial rent payment by September 13th, compared to 86.9% that paid by August 13th on this year. The survey measures 11.4 million units of professionally managed apartment units across the country. While it remains clear that many apartment residents continue to prioritize their housing obligations, and that apartment owners and operators remain committed to meeting them halfway with creative and nuanced approaches, the reality is that the second wave of September figures shows ongoing deterioration of rent payment figures, representing hundreds of thousands of households who are increasingly at risk, said the National Multifamily Housing Council President Doug Bibby in prepared comments. Other research highlights small but growing problems with the multifamily asset class. Effective rents in the second quarter nationally declined by 0.4%, according to a report from Moody's Analytics subsidiary. the first decline since the multifamily sector started its recovery from the 2008 to 2009 recession. Further, according to Reese, 41 out of 82 major apartment markets recorded declines in effective rents, compared with just 7 such markets for the first quarter of 2020 and a 0 a year ago. The debt markets are also showing signs of strain, another Reese report found. In our review of August's remittance, we've noticed some conflicting data. In addition to a multifamily sector displaying its first sign of pandemic-related distress, the two researchers wrote, while the overall delinquency rate is fairly stable and even showing signs of decline, the volume of special servicing remains stubbornly high and is inching higher. In certain cuts of the data, we even see sector-specific conflict in terms where stress is hiding and likely to show up in the near future, the authors said. A new report from Rentec Direct that evaluates the impact of COVID-19 on rent payments this month also gives further cause for concern. Rentec Direct's data has shown a consistent downward trend in the number of rent payments received nationwide by property managers and landlords. And the month of September has seen the biggest change with a 35% drop in total rent payments received. We began tracking data in March 2020, but Rentec did offer property owners a word of advice. Of tenants who pay rent electronically, nationwide rent payments in September 2020 are 1% higher than online payments received in March 2020. Online payments options dramatically increases the likelihood of paying rent. And that's what I have from Globe Street. So I'm curious to know what is happening out there. And Zach, I know you could probably really speak on this, especially in that Texas market. What are you seeing? Because I'm talking to property managers and I'm not quite hearing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of twofold. I think with money being so cheap, you have a lot of buyers in the market at the moment. But then also, I have definitely seen. I haven't studied the data yet in the Houston market. I want to do that this weekend. But I have seen, just speaking to owners, that collections are starting to go down. And if you're in those C class, probably not in the best location, you're going to start seeing the impact. And they're going to have decisions to make. And so it just brings a lot more activity to the market. Julie, you've probably been saying the exact same thing, or?
Yeah, I would say so. We're seeing deterioration a little bit on the T12s. You know, we're seeing over the T3s. You know, we're looking at T3s, or we're seeing T1s really to see what's been happening. What's the real story? A lot of concessions. We're seeing concessions going up, and bad debt. So, you know, from my end, we've had a ton of deal flow, a lot of off-market deals, right? So, you know, what that says to me is you need to really be getting in with these brokers. I know that, Zach, you can probably talk about this, but, you know, building that relationship with your broker is so important, because you want to be in line for these off-market deals.
Right.
And you know, obviously we're working with a lot of brokers as well. So it's good to be making contact with these brokers. And again, Zach, you can talk about that. How often do you want to be hearing from these new folks that are trying to put deals together who may not have their syndication all together? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's helpful for both parties to just to be as most prepared as possible. And, you know, if you're going to submit an LOI, knowing that, how confident are you to be able to close a deal? But I welcome all activity. If you call me anytime and discuss, because there's a lot of deals that, you know, maybe didn't make sense last month or 2 months, 3 months. Now it's starting, the owners are starting to open it up. And so there's going to be a lot more activity. So I have a lot of deals that were kind of on the sideline, just because it just didn't make sense to bring to prospective buyers. But now I could say in the next few weeks, they'll start making a lot more sense because of what we've been seeing.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. If we've got deterioration, then we've got some sizing changes, I would think, in pricing. So yeah, I think that makes sense. And from certainty, you know, we're always about execution certainty. We want to make sure that we can deliver these the debt to the deal. So always when we're looking to have a relationship with, whether it's your lender or your with your broker, being more as organized as you can will put you in a better position with the broker, which then will put yourself in front of the seller. That's what you are creating, is the power to get this thing done, right? It doesn't matter. You guys are all working so hard to find deals, to make them work. And if you can't execute, all of that time that you've spent is wasted. So make sure your team is as strong as possible.
Exactly.
You know, certainty but uncertainty with the interest rates. We saw this week saying that the Feds are saying they're not going to increase them for 3 years. You know, for me, I'm like, okay, let's see, when do I want to get that HELOC on my house, and when do I need to refinance? I really don't need to do it now, because I know, you know, I could do this in another couple years. So in that case, I think there's a way to get some really cheap debt on these properties. And what I've also seen is very creative planning, where we're not taking the debt on at the beginning, that we're doing it in phases. We're bringing in equity in phases, and that's pretty cool. So you're not having to pay out a bunch of money to the investors right away. You're saving a little bit of capital.
Right.
Yeah, so that's all I have for this week, but I know it's been real busy out on the market, and we do see it in deal flow.
Question, Julie, are y'all sizing the loans off of T1 or T3?
It depends. So if we see declining income, then we'll look at T1. Typically it's T3, and then on expenses, we're really pushing out to 12. And as always, I always tell the people that I talk to when we talk about, oh, I'm going to put in an LOI, make sure you're looking at your insurance and your taxes before you call me. Think, oh, I know Julie's going to ask me, did I do that? Really, really important, because this is really where a lot of it makes or breaks these deals. So we're looking at 40 to 60% increases. And while I love you, Zach, I got to tell you, if we're looking at sizing these deals with what is on the taxes, a lot of brokers want to put what the current taxes are, and you cannot use those in your underwriting. So really take the time, put it in, to take the time to call that taxing authority, all right? And call, I have a lot of people who use my insurance broker, my insurance brokers. If you need somebody, reach out to me. I can help you with that, or make sure you have one on your team. Critically important.
Well, you know, I want to piggyback on that too, because I think, you know, by me being in commercial and the commercial field as a multifamily specialist, the one thing I try to advise clients is not just the taxes, Julie, but see what the new person is going to wind up paying in insurance. Because
of course.
And insurance, taxes and insurance could kill a deal.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Taxes and insurance could kill a deal real fast. Yeah. So,
and you know, when you do put those in, right, you got to start looking at the levers. Okay, well, we're at 70-30. Should I be going? You know, sometimes tweaking that even more, going to 70-30 even improves it. Depends on what it is, right?
Yeah.
So really take a look at that critical piece.
Yeah.
That's what I have to say. Yeah.
Zach, what about yourself? You have anything you want to add in?
No, I mean, I think Julie stole the show this week.
Oh.
I learned a lot from her. So no, it's just I think we've made a lot of progress. I mean, when I first joined you guys was right in the middle of COVID. Everything was just on a standstill, and how we've kind of seen these past few weeks just open up. And so it's like a breath of fresh air. And it's going to be interesting going into elections, going into like we just don't know, but just take it one day at a time, and it's going to be hopefully everyone the deals that y'all want to get can get done, and it's just it's a patient game, and it's just trying to get the right deal in front of the right person.
Yeah. Well, I've started looking back into my archives into deals that I had submitted LOIs on a while ago, a long time ago, and I go back in to see if them properties are still available. And there are some that are still on the market, and so now I'm just requesting updated information.
Yeah.
See how can I get this property now? Because if it didn't sell back in the late part of 2019, and this is 2020 in September, something has to happen. So I've been doing a lot of digging into my old files, seeing what's still on the market, and possibly going after them. So
that sounds
see if something's
really good.
Yeah.
So, what are you doing this weekend, Daryl?
Huh?
What are you doing this weekend?
Well, this weekend I'm not going to probably do too much.
Yeah. Have the leaves fallen yet, or are they still? Have they changed?
Actually, the leaves. My backyard. I love trees, right? So my neighbor cut down all the big trees in his backyard, and now he took my shade away.
Yeah, that's a problem.
So I'm like, oh man, and my backyard looks different now because I got all this light in my backyard. So I'm not too
Vegetable
happy.
garden. Vegetable garden.
I bet you weren't complaining on the easement though.
No, I wasn't worried about because the trees was in his yard, but they were big, and I understand. I definitely understand why he had to cut them, because if one of the trees fall, it's going to do some damage. And I mean, these trees are big. So, but yeah, he cut them all down, and now my whole backyard like look bright. I'm like,
it's a renewal. It's a renewal, man.
So
that's awesome.
But I got to cut some trees down myself, so I'm gonna have to call him. So, but what about
awesome.
Zach? What you doing this weekend? And Julie?
Well, I actually am going to be speaking on the Goddesses have a summit going on, so I'll be on a panel speaking on Sunday. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So they're already doing it today.
Really?
But I'll be on Sunday, so that's exciting.
That's cool.
What are you speaking on?
About differences with COVID, what we've seen financially. So they're going to have other people on the panel that'll be sharing things that they've seen. Brokers, I'm sure there's going to have a broker there, and maybe insurance. I'm not sure who I'm on the panel with, but so that's cool.
But it's going to be all women.
All women. Sorry, you guys. Can't join. You're jealous, I can tell.
And Zach, what you doing this weekend? Are you going to rest from because you're doing tell me again what you're doing, not a triathlon, right?
Well, I was supposed to do the Ironman in April. It got rescheduled for this October in Waco, but I deferred because I don't want to do it in Waco. So they just announced it today. They canceled that one, and everyone that was going to do Waco has to do the Woodlands in April, back to April. So it's been a full circle year. And so everyone who's been training for the past 6 months for that just got shifted. So one of my good buddies, he's upset, and so but I'm gonna start training for that probably next month seriously. But I need to get organized, and because I'm going to be climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. It's a great adventure, and so I'm really excited for that.
Yeah. That's
And
awesome.
Ironman isn't that on TV?
Ironman Kona, the World Championships in Hawaii, it's usually held in October, but it was canceled this year.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Well, keep
Well,
us abreast of
yeah. So, hey guys, I want to make a plug. All right,
that.
you don't mind, right? Okay, so we've got the Old Capitol Conference coming up October 20th and
Yep.
21st.
Yep.
Great conference. We got some great speakers. Typically it's in person, but you can sit in the comfort of your own lazy boy chair
Oh.
for only 1.5 days. So take a look at that, oldcapitolconference.com, as well as everybody is invited onto my Zoom at 8 on Tuesdays, every Tuesday at 8 Eastern. So if you're in the mountain states, it's not going to be that time. So do the math. All right, so we've got some great speakers. We do networking, and we also have speakers every week. So take a look at that on my Facebook, Julianne Peterson. Love to have you join us.
Fantastic. Zach, what about you? You got a plug? I see you do some videos, but I see you be doing some videos.
Yeah, I got to see those.
Yeah, no, I had a entertainment background before this. I made a lot of short films and I did a lot of podcasts, stuff like that. So I kind of just brought the arts and business together and I have a thing called Houston Multifamily TV. It's just,
Nice.
I just want to learn from people who are doing a lot better than me in multifamily, and then just kind of grasping who kind of invest in the Houston market. And so just been learning from them. So.
Wow. That's something good. Man,
That's
I like,
awesome.
okay, well, as soon as I get my deal closed, maybe you'll interview me on the show.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, I'll be interviewing you on my show because I'll be the lender. So there you go.
Exactly. And I want to give a plug for the Lunch and Grow Commercial Multifamily. Lunch and Grow Commercial Multifamily every Tuesday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Please join us. We have investors. We're socializing. We're breaking out into rooms, and this gives you the opportunity to network. You get to see who can help you get to where you need to go. So whatever your weakness may be, there could be someone there that could be your strength, and in return, your strength could be someone's weakness. So come join us. If you need to reach out to me, please, you can reach out to me either by the private message or just ask a question right here on Facebook. And if you're watching on YouTube, all you gotta do is type a message in on the YouTube. All right. So, Julie, how can everybody reach you? What's your number?
Yep, 972-833-2774.
Fantastic. And Zach, how they can reach you?
Yeah, my number is 713-855-7375.
All right. And of course, you can reach me right here or DM me. Listen, I want to say thank you to everyone, and we will see you next week on Commercial Multifamily Mastermind Weekend Brief.
You got it.
Awesome.
See you later.
Have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend.
Have a good weekend, guys.
All right.